What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about if the Life is Strange Remastered collection is worth it. So try to collect all my thoughts and talk about, if this game is worth you buying, worth you doing $40 for, which is obviously I think the thing that's catching a lot of people up, and I honestly feel like that's a very, very valid thing to do. Now, I've played a good amount of it at the time you guys are at least watching this video, and I feel like I just have enough to say. I mean, look, when you look at this remastered collection, obviously it's nothing new. It's the base game, right? Life is Strange, along with Before the Storm, and then just a new coat of paint on it. And I guess the question is that new coat of paint worth it? Now, as I've said, I bought the deluxe edition of True Colors. That's the way that I did it. That way I wouldn't have to spend any money now. I don't remember what the exact price would have been if you did that. I feel like it's only like a $10 or $20 thing in that situation or that circumstance. If not, if you're buying this game from scratch, right? Again, it's $40, straight up $40. And I've gone back and forth. I think that you look at what the prices were of, Season 1 back in the day. I believe you could have bought the Season Pass for $20, $25 at the time. And then I think it was $20, and then each episode would have been $5 if you didn't do it. So the entire first season at the time, back 7 years ago, I can't believe it was that long ago, 2015, you would have had to spend $25 on it. Before the Storm, I think was roughly the same thing. I think it was a little bit more, maybe $30. And again, I think you got a reduced rate if you bought it all in one go versus if you bought each episode episodically, I guess, right? So, money for money-wise, I guess it is roughly the same. Actually, I think it's a little bit more discount here. However, I'm not stupid. I'm not arrogant, right? I know that, when you're just putting this under a new coat of paint, again, 7 years later, Before the Storm's case, a little less than that, $40 is still a good amount. So here's what I would say. I love this game. I love it to death. I'm a diehard Life is Strange fan, mainly Life is Strange 1. I love 1. I love True Colors. I was not a fan whatsoever of 2. I actually did like Before the Storm as well. But Life is Strange 1 is one of my favorite games of all time, and it's always going to hold that moment in my heart. There's just so many good moments to this franchise, to the game. Just all the music. I forget sometimes how just absolutely incredible the soundtrack was of them taking from all these indie artists and putting them together. And I actually bought the soundtrack with the physical edition of Life is Strange when it came out. This is now my third time, I guess, buying Life is Strange from scratch or in some way. I think it's tough because the coat of paint isn't glaring, okay? The new look of Life is Strange, or I literally mean like the first game, is not too much. Now, for me, I've never been so aggressively, I'm not saying you can't be, but I've never been aggressively angry towards what we had seen leading into this. They showed the first trailer, and the reception, I think, to put it lightly, was mixed, was absolutely mixed of like, is this, like, you just doing this for a cash grab, this or that. And I get it. Because I think the visuals don't exactly stand out. We actually talked about this I think maybe a week or so ago, where I think what really stands out about like the new version, the new look of this game, is if you try to remember, or you literally do what they did and put it side by side, right? They did a side-by-side comparison. Once you do that, I think the changes are actually incredibly noticeable, at least to me. You could tell the textures are a bit more refined. The lip syncing works a lot better. You can tell emotions a lot better now. And the thing I greatly respect from them, and I don't necessarily know if I did respect this before I saw, they did a video about 2-3 days ago where they did a behind-the-scenes look at the game. And in this behind-the-scenes, they talked about just their massive respect for the franchise and actually said something that I had assumed, or at least I had thought, like for a long time now. I've said it in videos. The art style, the look of the first Life is Strange game is so specific, and it's so important, and it's so, I would say, beautiful. Now, yes, at the time, the lip syncing was like an absolute disaster, right? I mean, nobody liked it. Everybody, definitely pointed out as one of the weaknesses. But that, I think the general look of this game, okay? Well, yes, it does look rough around the edges. I think mainly like the lighting and just the art style they stand out so well, and they really define, at least back then, what Life is Strange was. And then you saw Before the Storm take that next jump. Then you saw 2 really do it. And then True Colors. I mean, you look at True Colors, my dear God. It's incredible the path that the series has gone. But still, even in True Colors, like, yeah, it looks a lot better. But you can still tell it's definitely sticking with the roots. Like, it still does have the same art style as the first game. It's just a lot more specific, a lot more refined. The lighting is still just as, like, vibrant. So I guess what I'm saying is they said that in their behind the scenes thing where they didn't want to change it too much. They didn't want to start from scratch and like make their own version of Max and Chloe, which, you know what? Again, I don't know how many people like really think about that, and I'm not saying you're right or wrong to do it, but if you really think about it, right, do you want them to rebuild this game from the... I personally don't. I look at this game as just such a special, just, you know, a capsule of time, this kind of game, and I don't really want it changed all that much. So I would say this, you know, enough beating around the bush. I've tried to, and I don't really think I have been. I'm trying to just explain kind of how I think about it. I am okay with what's happened here. I think what they've done is honestly pretty different. And I'm not like shilling for them, right? I'm not like bowing down to their feet. I honestly feel like what they've done is different than a lot of the other remasters that we've got. I think what we've seen is remasters that are basically ports. They should just be ports of the game. I don't think that's what this is. I actually think it's more refined, and they actually did more stuff to just call it like a simple port to next gen. You know what I mean? So I would say that. On the other side of things, I would say we've also seen big leaps. Mass Effect Legendary Edition, right, came out last May. The first game was considered a remaster, but it was actually closer to a remake. The changes that were made from Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 1, I guess, the Legendary Edition, were insane. They were definitely a jump. So I think because this isn't, it doesn't stand out as much as a game that changes more dramatically, and I think Mass Effect had to. I think it had to. But because this game, Life is Strange, didn't do that, I think it gets a bad, you know, reputation. Again, this is totally my opinion. If you don't agree, that's fine. And I also think the biggest thing for me is the price that you pay for, right? I get it. I understand, you know, $40 for a fresh coat of paint, that's not gonna rub off on everybody the exact same way. Some people would think that's just a, you know, a drastic waste of money and time and all that stuff, and I totally get that. I totally respect that. Again, I'm really struggling. I feel like it was $20 if you did like the deluxe edition for True Color. So, I mean, if you did that, you're only paying $20, you're not paying $40. And I don't know. I don't know. I again, like, you look at the prices of Life is Strange and Before the Storm, you put them together, it's over $40. So, I mean, it is a discounted rate now. You're getting them both together. You're getting a fresh coat of paint on it. And I think it's more than worth checking out. You know what I mean? I really think this game is kind of timeless. I truly do. That's a pun. No pun intended. You know, I actually, stupidly enough, I walked myself into that. So I really do believe it, though. I think this is a game you can play at any time and still holds up. And now with the extra coat of paint, I'm telling you, you know, I know people think they did Max dirty. I actually think Max looks pretty okay. Chloe looks very much more, you know, refined. I think there's some characters that it worked better on. Jefferson is one that stands out. Max is probably in the middle. I don't think Max was like massively helped by this, but she wasn't like hurt. But there are some characters that I think really, like, you can tell they're not different, but they have like a new sense of being because of the, you know, again, the refinements. Chloe probably being number one, at least in my opinion. So, you know, again, this is an opinion piece, this is an opinion video. I think the game is worth it. I think the game was worth it at what I, you know, put the money into it. I don't know if it would have been worth $40, but that's up for you guys, you know, to figure out. I mean, are you going to play it? Are you going to put in all the time? I mean, they're about 3-hour episodes. I mean, you have 8 episodes with these two things combined. You got 3 hours each, roughly. I mean, that's 24 hours for $40. That's a good amount of content, I would argue, compared to some of the other stuff that people have brought up over the last couple of years. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you want me to do more Life is Strange content, I definitely can. I've been recording myself playing through this. Maybe I could live stream an episode or something like that. Let me know what you guys want to see in the comments. All my social media is in the description below if you guys want to check it out. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next video.